Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube. Good night, depending on what time and when you're watching this video. Mark here. And today I want to share with you my testimony to encourage you, to uplift you, to empower you to go after Jesus, go after God like never before, because He is the only one. He's the only one that will save you. And I know this from my personal experience. I want to share my testimony with you to uplift you, to build you up, to encourage you. Maybe you've been through something traumatic, something great in your life. And my goal is to push you towards God, to encourage you to seek God. The Bible says, seek the Lord while He may be found. And there's going to come a day and time where it's all over. It's too late. And so don't let that be you. So in this video, I'm going to just be transparent. I'm going to share with you all my testimony. I'll try not to make this video very long. If you haven't already watched my one video about my sexual abuse story, you can. It just goes a little bit more into depth as to kind of how I experienced sexual abuse. It's something that I'm not proud of, but God has delivered me from that. He has changed my heart, my mind, and now I'm here to help all of you, those of you going through whatever it may be. It may not even be sexual abuse, but pain and trauma. And so what I've learned over time as I've gotten older and I've grown in the faith is that trauma, hurt, pain can do one of two things. It can either draw you closer to God or it can separate you from God, all right? So today I pray that your trauma, your pain, your difficulty that you're going through is going to draw you or push you closer to God. So anyway, my testimony is that, of course, I've been through sexual trauma. As a kid, I did live in a broken home. My home was broken. My mom and dad divorced when I was young. So I didn't have the fatherly presence in the home. My father was there. Like I would visit him here and there, but he wasn't like a physical presence in the home. And I believe that when I say this statement, this is not any shade or any disrespect towards my father. Because I'm supposed to honor my mother and my father no matter what. So remember that, you guys. Honor your mother and your father. That is a command by the Lord, that we got to honor them, whether they're right or wrong. And I know that can be difficult with many different circumstances or situations. But anyway, I had a broken home. So automatically I was at risk for anything spiritually that could go wrong to happen. It is very important for each home to have a male presence in the home, if possible, covering that family, all right, covering that family in prayer. And I didn't have that. So what it is been through great pain in my life, which caused me to then go out and get into these premature relationships, or I started messing around with females. Lost my virginity at age 15. All right, lost my virginity at age 15, just doing all kind of reckless stuff, having unprotected sex at age 15. Just doing crazy stuff, man. And so a part of that, I believe, was predicated on the fact that I had been through a lot of sexual trauma, the pain of experiencing this, and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't have, at that time, I didn't have any type of guidance. So I just went on this hiatus of just seeing how many females I could, take down or smash, or I don't know what the terminology that people use now, but that's what I did. And at that moment, during that time, I didn't realize that my spiritual was dying. Um, my physical was being satisfied and pleasured, but the spiritual person was dying inside. It still didn't take away the pain that I thought it would. It still didn't make me feel better. It still didn't make me feel like, okay, man, I'm this macho guy. What I learned about sin is that sin um, can hold you captive. It can hold you in bondage. Um, it can cause you to do things or act in a way that you are like, dang, I really did that. That's crazy. I can't believe I actually did that. So it can have you doing things or having you behave in a certain way. It cost me. It released what is called a spirit of selfishness. That's how I would identify it. I became selfish. It became all about me and what I wanted. And so when I would get into relationships, um, I became very selfish. So sin, um, molestation, or sexual abuse can cause, it can release a spirit of sin. It can release a spirit of selfishness um, on you. So that's how I began to behave. I began to behave in a selfish manner. It became all about me. I would have 2 and 3 and 4 girlfriends at the same time. Um, I would, sleep with one girl or one person, then I would leave that person, go, have sex with another person. So I'm, doing all of this stuff, but I'm spiritually dead. I'm spiritually dying. I just didn't realize it. Um, so again, when I got into these relationships with women, these women, I didn't know how to be faithful. You know, this other person's sin released a spirit of unfaithfulness over me. All right, it had me captive. It had me bondage because I had never dealt with it. I had never um, released the person. Right. It also released a spirit of anger. So I struggle with being angry, and just like just mad and angry. Um, and so I lived like this for a very long time. When I got into my adulthood, when I got off to college, man, I was off the chain. I was doing stuff that, you know, I didn't even really think was possible. I didn't even realize what it was that I was doing. Um, you know, like I said, I would, go sleep with female here. Then, I remember I was messing with um 2 females in the same dorm room. Like they was like in the same dormitory. One was on like the second floor and another one was on like the fourth floor. So I'm in a room with one lady, one female, and then we messing around. And then once we're done, I was like, all right, man, I gotta go. I go up to like the fourth floor and I'm messing with another girl, all in the like same night. So I behaved like this for a while, man, and then I ended up getting into alcohol. I began to drink, trying to drink my problems away. Um, I remember back to the abuse part. I used to wake up. I used to have nightmares about the abuse experiences, and I would wake up in cold sweat. So I would, I remember being in a relationship with this girl, and she would either stay the night at my house or I would stay the night at her house. And I remember yelling in my sleep, like, and I woke up in a cold sweat. And so when that happened, it was very like traumatic, very hard, very difficult to deal with. Um, so this went on for like years, man. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know how to really get through it. Until I found Jesus. I'm gonna say that until I found Jesus, man. That's why I be trying to tell you all. I know Jesus is real, man. He's real. You just have to take the time to really get to know him, you have to take the time, no matter what you've been taught, no matter what you believe. Again, I had grew up in the church all my life, and I was like, man, I don't want nothing to do with no Jesus, no church, no God. Look at what I've been through. Look at my life. I always try to justify why I didn't want nothing else to do with God, or I didn't want anything to do with what was going on with church, because look at my life. Look at what I had been through. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want anything to do with it. But oh man, when I put my trust in the Lord, He found me. He found me. Now, when I was going through all of these moments of dealing with women and doing this and doing that, um, I didn't really feel God. I didn't feel God. I didn't want God. It's like I rejected God. I didn't go to church. You know, I didn't want anything to do with it, because I was like, there's no way God is real and I'm going through all of this stuff. It's just no way. So that was my life. I lived like that for a very long time. Like I said, I got into alcohol, a little bit of drugs, not too. I wasn't real big on drugs, but smoke a little weed here and there. But my thing was alcohol. I would just try to drink my problems away and try to sleep with as many females. So I would just do, all types of little things, man, to just kind of get my mind just refocus, reset. At least that's what I thought. Um, and then one day, man, I went to this church service. Um, went to this church service, and God found me. God found me. But before that, I actually, eventually got married, and a lot of those same problems that I hadn't dealt with um, trickled over to my marriage. So for those of you that are married and you're dealing with things, you got to really take it to God. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the same behaviors that I struggled with when I was younger trickled over into my marriage. Um, and so that's how infidelity kind of came on the scene in my marriage, and it was actually early on in my marriage. Um, I've been married now for going on 14 years or so. Um, as of this video, it sounds like a long time, man. 14 years. Um, but early on in my marriage, you would think most people say, well, if you can make it through the first like 3 to 5 years, you'll be all right, which is true. But early on in my marriage, man, I was still doing stuff, doing things. Um, Entertaining females, like the same kind of behaviors and mannerisms, because I had never dealt with what I needed to deal with. One day I went to a service and I just gave it to God. I said, Lord, I know this is not right. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be like this. And I gave it to God. I confessed my sins to who I needed to, and I forgave and released the person that um, committed sin against me. So that's one of the key factors. If you want to get healing in your mind and your heart, the best thing that you can do is not hold yourself captive. You got to release yourself from the torment, the pain, the drama, however you identify it as, the hurt, pain, all of that. You got to be the one to release yourself from that. And how you do that is you got to let it go. You got to forgive the person. And you got to seek the Lord with everything you have. Seek Him for answers. Seek the Lord for a solution. You have to. And it was when I did that. I went to a church service. This lady prayed over me. She prayed for a lot of people. And I had been to a lot of services. But this one particular service, God was ready. I was ready and God was ready. He found me. And I remember the lady placed her hand over my head right here, and she prayed for me. And there was like when she touched my head, it was a small lady. Lady wasn't big or anything. It was a small lady. She touched my head. She was praying over everybody around the altar. And when she touched my head, prayed over me, it was like lightning bolts, like a shock wave that touched my body, and I fell to the floor. And instantly, I received my healing, my deliverance through faith. And ever since then, I hadn't had any nightmares, um, the same type of behaviors and things. Um, I didn't want any parts of that. All right. So I just wanted to share my testimony with you all. I wanted to encourage you all um, to go in faith, seek the Lord while he may be found. He'll find you. Trust me. He wants you. He wants to take every burden that you have, that you struggle and deal with, away. But the first step is you have to surrender it. You can't just be like, nah, I ain't gonna deal with that. No, I'm not gonna go there. No, I'm not gonna listen to that. You got to be open for um, for him to come in. God is not gonna just come in on his own. You have to seek the Lord. All right. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope this video finds you well. Peace and blessings. I love all of you. And again, make sure you all watch the video, like, share. If you get value, or if this is inspiring to you, let me know in the comment section. Talk to me. Let me know what you think about this video. And hey, I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.